Okay, welcome back. So I had issue with the previous installation. So it was a version related issue. So what I did was to log into another account of mine so that I'll create the subdomain with faithphilemon.com instead of rocketwest.com. So as you can see it here, this is webdesign.faithphilemon.com. But it's the same process. Everything I did up to this point, it's just the same. I created a subdomain and then I uploaded all my files there. So you can see my installer file and then you can see the archive file. All of them have been uploaded into this folder right here. So if you run the site name /installer.php, it's going to open up this screen for you. And then you don't need to check anything here. You don't need to touch anything. All you need to do is to check this key, this option. I have read and accept all terms and conditions. So you click next, and then it's going to extract the file, and then it will take us to a page where we're going to enter all the database details and everything related to it. So talking about databases, we're going to need to go back to our okay, look at it here. We need to go back to our cPanel. So I'll come to cPanel and then I'll scroll down to my SQL databases. So select it and then it's going to open an interface for you. Once that is done, all right. So now it is saying we should create a new database. So I'll call this WD for web design. Automatically, it's going to add this prefix for you. So don't worry about that. It has to be there. So hit the create database button and then we proceed from there. My network is a bit slow, so give it some time. All right, so it's been created. What I like to do is to copy the name. So I'll hit the go back link because there's one more thing we need to do before we proceed. Okay, scroll down to this place, create user. So we need to create a new user. So I'll call this WD user. You can give this any name actually, but just make sure it's something you can recall. WD user, and then it's asking for a password. So I will call this WD user 2. So that's what I'll type. WD underscore user. All right, let's see what we have here. Okay, password again, WD underscore user. All right, our password is set, so I'll hit create user. And then it's going to create a user because we can't access the database without a user. So let me paste this here. Let me come back. I'll paste it here. Let me do something. So I'll say this is my what? Database. Then I'll say my user is, let's come here and copy the name. So this is our user. All right, so let's go back here. So one last thing, we need to assign a user to the database. So come down to this section and say add user to database. So this is the user we want to add, Faith Philemon, underscore WD user. So select it and then select the database, which is this one, the one we just created now. Click the add button. Okay, so it's asking you to select the privilege of the user. This essentially means what do you want the user of this database to have access to. For example, they should be able to alter the data, they should be able to create data, they should be able to delete all these things. So just select all of it by clicking here and then say make changes. Excellent. So now it's time for us to come here. So now back to our installer. It is asking us to enter the details of our database. So this is our database. So I'll copy it, then I'll paste here. The next is what? My username. So I'll say what? This is my username. Then for password, I'll say wd_user, which was the password I selected. Before we proceed, let's test to see if everything is working correctly. If our connection, yes, we've been connected to our database. So now we can click next to proceed, and then it's asking us to check if everything is correct. Then we run the installer. Okay, this might take a minute or two. Okay, excellent. So now it is saying in case we want to update the name of the website or anything, this is where we need to do it. And then, but for now, there's nothing we need to change. We are good with every information. So we will hit next to proceed to the fourth step. And then what's doing right now is just replacing the data it came with the one we added, but this is not a lot of work since we never changed the core data. All right, looks like it's done. So all right, so now we have a couple of options here. First, it is saying we should click this button. We have a link to log into the admin area. And then we have this interesting option here saying auto delete installer files after login, which is very, very recommended because these files we uploaded here, look at them, our installer files. We no longer need them. They've done their job. So leaving them here is going to be risky for the sake of security and other things. So what we want to do is to leave this option checked so that as soon as we click admin login and then we are logged in, it's going to delete them for us. So right now, when we log in, we're going to be logging to the live version of the website. It's no longer the one we had on our computer. So let's try it and see if everything goes correctly. Give it a minute. Excellent. So we're presented with the login page. So let me go and see where I saved it, and then I'll paste it back. Okay, now we've logged in, and then we allow that option checked so that it will delete the installation files for us. If you click the logs link, you're going to see all the logs. While that is loading, let's go back to the server and then reload this page. We should be able to see our WordPress files in the server, in the directory. And then if you scroll down, you're not going to see your installer.php and also your archive file from Duplicator. So everything went on excellently well. We can close this, we no longer need it. And then you can see that this is now running online. This is no longer on our local machine. So you can do everything you were doing on your local machine, on your computer. You can continue from where you stopped, and it's all the same thing. Nothing has been modified. Let's try to view the site and see what we have. And see the result. Excellent. So you can see everything just perfectly the same, but the URL is different because this is now live on the internet. And that is just how you deploy a WordPress website with Duplicator. So this method is exclusive to WordPress websites only. If you're building a website with HTML, CSS, and raw PHP, the deployment process are similar, but it's not the same. This was created to automate the deployment. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next class.